What's up kaikille ja tervetuloa katsoa YY Reagoi-kanavaa taas tänäänkin. Tänään on tosi jees video, eli katsotaan eri lajien goatteja tämän tietyn YouTube-kanavan mukaan. Ja sitten mä kerron vähän mun omaa näkemystä siitä, että kuka on se goat ja mitä mieltä mä oon goatteudesta ja niin edelleen. Mä haluan aloittaa tämän sanomalla, että junnuna mä mietin aina goatteja, mietin kuka on parempi kuin kukaan, ja vertailu oli tosi kivaa urheilussa ja onhan se hauskaa puuhaa. Mutta mä haluan sanoa teille kaikille tämän, jos te huomaatte, että teidän omissakin teoissa, te teette jotain hienoa, mutta teidän on vaikea olla siitä iloinen, koska te vertaatte johonkin, joka on parempi ja tälleen, niin mikä se sanonta on? Comparison is the thief of joy. Eli jos aivot on koko ajan siinä vertausmoodissa, niin onnellisuus on oikeasti todella vaikea löytää tässä elämässä. Niin mun ensimmäinen viesti ennen kuin mennään tähän hauskanpitoon, eli verrataan ketkä on parhaita, niin muistakaa, että me ollaan tosi unique eliöitä, ihmiset, ja ne asiat, mitä sä teet, liittyy tosi paljon sun olosuhteisiin, mitä sulle on annettu geneettisesti ja fyysisessä maailmassa, mitä on tapahtunut, ja tälleen osaa arvostaa kaikkea, mitä sä teet, vaikka se ei olisi jollain ihme listalla verrattuna muihin, enemmän kuin se, okei? Okay? Ja jos tää on epäselvä, mitä mä puhun nyt, niin tulkaa kommentteihin kysyä, mä mielelläni autan tuossa ajatuksessa, koska vertaava mieli, jos sinne jää jumiin, niin onnellisuus on oikeasti vaikea löytää. Muistakaa painaa tilausnappia, tykkää tästä videosta ja niin edelleen. Mennään katsoa, kuka helkutti on the goat of goats missäkin lajissa. Let's go.
Calling somebody a goat used to be an insult. Today, it's the highest praise. And there are not many goats out there. Who's the greatest of all time is a popular debate in many barbershops, school halls, office spaces, and TV panels. And without further ado, here's our take on sports' greatest.
Ali!
Football, Leo Messi. For all
Allekirjoitan.
Cristiano Ronaldo fans out there, please realize that I too love Cristiano and that he's definitely in this conversation because he's sustained greatness for 17 years and counting. If you wanted to make a case for Cristiano, you could, because he has won gold with Portugal.
Vielä 2 vuotta sitten Chris oli mun goat. OG tietää.
And is superior to Messi in certain aspects of the game. The most obvious example is aerial play, simply because he is taller and has supreme athleticism. Ronaldo's sprints without the ball are also unmatched in football, and his dedication to the sport is second to none. All that being said, I'd still give a slight nod to Messi. 2 years younger, he has an equally sustained level of world-class play ever since he stepped onto the scene in 2005. And if there was one word to describe Messi, it would be genius. His dribble...
Genius ja magician, sillä se on oikeasti nero fudiskentällä, mutta se, miten se on oppinut koskea tuota palloa ja kontrolloimaan sitä ja vapaata tilaa, on jotain, mitä ei ole ikinä nähty.
Finishing, ball control, and feel for the game are the things we haven't seen before or since. Nobody does what he can do. When he runs with the ball, it sticks to his feet, and it almost seems like he's faster with it than without it. He also became one
Messin noi kaikki pikkukosketukset, se aina ottaa vaan 2 kosketus. Se tekee, että se pallo on koko ajan sen kontrollissa, niin kuin se olisi jojo.
Of the best playmakers in the game, and probably the best free kick taker. Yes, he's never won gold with the national team, but he...
Tämä video on tehty ennen kuin Messi voitti MM-kultaa, niin tossa oli vaan, he's never won gold with the national team. Nyt se on voittanut senkin.
He was a part of some poorly managed teams, even though he was clearly the best player on the pitch. Honorable mention goes to the original Ronaldo, who was equally as good at his...
Mä tein just videon R9stä YouTubeen. Käy ihmeessä kattoo mun kanavalla, kan ne muutenkin käydä kattoo mun kanavalla. Siellä on chillei-videoita, Suomen lämminhenkisin community, all love, peace and love on meidän motto, let's go.
Peak as Messi and Cristiano. It's just that his peak was cut short due to multiple knee injuries.
Yep.
And also to Pele, who was considered the...
Puhuttiin mun veljen kanssa. Mä veikkaan, että Pele voisi ihan hyvin olla GOAT. Me ei vaan nähdä sitä, me ei tiedetä tarpeeksi. Niin kuin, Pele saattaa olla oikeasti GOAT. Niin kuin, se on vaan mahdoton vertaa, kun ei näe tarpeeksi. Mutta oman aikansa GOAT ainakin.
GOAT for a long time, but both Ronaldo and Messi will exceed his official goal tally and will
Noi statsit ei kerro mulle mitään. Eri ajoissa tehdään eri tavalla maaleja ja se on vaan eri.
do so in modern football, which is probably 10 times faster and more complex than the football in the 1950s.
Ja tässä välissä mä haluan sanoa teille kaikille, kertokaa teidän GOATit näissä lajeissa. Nyt on menty foodis, seuraavaksi mennään ilmeisesti korikseen. Mennään
Basketball, Michael Jordan. If you ask 100 people who is the GOAT of basketball, some people will say it's LeBron, some will say it's Kareem, while others will put Bill Russell in the front because he has the most rings.
Some people put Kobe, välissä on Kobe myös. Siis GOAT-keskustelu on myös, muistakaa, se on tosi paljon siitä kiinni, että mistä tykkää. Jos sä tykkäät dominoivasta tyypistä, joka on vahva ja sit sä otat Jordani. Jos sä tykkäät ultimaattisesta joukkuepelaajasta, jolle ei ole oma ego, vaan se pelaa joukkueensa vuoksi aina. Sä valitset LeBronin, jos sä valitset puolustajan, johtajan, niin sä valitset Bill Russellin, jossa, tiedätkö mitä mä tarkoitan? Se, mistä tykkäät, luo sun GOAT-näkemyksen.
However, most of them will say the greatest basketball player who ever walked the face of the earth was Michael Jeffrey Jordan. MJ has everything needed for the GOAT argument. He's got the titles, he's got the MVPs. Some people have better stats, but that's more due to the quantity of seasons in which they played.
Chilla, toi jäbä puhuu nyt liikaa, mun näkemykseen. Siis todellakin MJ on mun GOAT, ihan vaan tiedätte. Sitten LeBron 2 ja muut tulee perässä, ja LeBron on aika lähellä, mutta mulle MJ on GOAT sen takia, miten dominoivasti se voitti. Kun se oppi kerran voittaa ja sai yhden All-Starin sen jengiin, se ei hävinnyt periaatteessa enää ikinä, vaan se voitti 3, jäi eläkkeelle, tuli takas, voitti 3 lisää. 3 putkea, vaan Kobe ja Shaq on onnistunut voittaa 3 Siis MJ on niinku voittamisen psykopaatti, niin mä sanoisin. Siksi se on mun GOAT. Mut siis toi alkoi selittää, että muilla on hyviä statseja, mutta siis LeBronin statsit on paremmat. LeBronin tietynlainen moniulotteisuus on parempi kuin MJ, mutta MJ tää oli enemmän kuin mitä me ollaan ikinä nähty.
Than the difference in quality. Jordan was equally good offensively and defensively. He was an athletic demigod, but still extremely fundamentally sound. He had the handles, he had the shooting touch, and could stay in the air longer than anybody. There were absolutely no deficiencies in his game. All that was complemented with overwhelming passion for the game.
Ja tossa toi passion on se juttu.
Than life charisma and a huge impact on the sport globally, which MJ brought to heights never reached before. Like President Obama said when he gave MJ the Presidential Medal of Freedom, there is a reason why they call somebody the Michael Jordan of their profession, if they are the best at what they do. Hockey, Wayne Gretzky.
Tää on selkein GOAT-keskustelu. Mä en tiedä, monet teistä tietää lätkästä paljon enemmän ja paremmin kuin minä, niin mä haluan kuulla teidän GOAT-keskusteluun liittyen lätkään, mutta mulle se, mitä Gretzky teki, näyttää siltä, että ei kukaan ole lähelläkään. Sille Ovechkin on mutta ei.
Messi is in football. Wayne Gretzky is in hockey. Smaller than everyone, but better than everyone as well. Gretzky came to the league in 1979 and immediately won an MVP award, which he will then claim for 8 seasons straight. He's the leading scorer in NHL history and has more goals, assists, and hat tricks than any other player. He won 4
Sillä on tuplasti enemmän pisteitä kuin sillä seuraavalla, eikö se ole?
Stanley Cups as a member of the Edmonton Oilers, and is credited to change the game of hockey forever. More team-oriented play, constructed around finding the open space, and letting the power of the pass rule the game, is all tied to Gretzky. Most sports have these heartfelt debates around who's the GOAT, Messi or Ronaldo, LeBron or Jordan, Brady or Montana. In hockey, there is little to no debate. The greatest player ever to put on skates is Wayne Gretzky. Boxing, Muhammad Ali.
Ali! Hyvä, että noi valitsi Aliin. Tää on mielenkiintoinen, koska on tyyppejä, jotka ei ole hävinnyt ikinä nyrkkeilyssä. Te tiedätte, kenestä mä puhun, Floyd. Mut kyllä Ali on GOAT, tiedätkö? Ja mä haluan kuulla, jos on eri näkemyksiä. Se on hyvä tässä communityssä, että me voidaan puhua chillisti, ei tarvi olla vaan, mä vihaan sua, koska sä oot eri mieltä kuin minä. Vaan mä mielellään kuulen, mitä mieltä te ootte. Mut Aliin, no mennään, katsotaan mitä tää sanoo.
In the modern era, there have been many heavyweights that would give Ali problems due to their superior size or strength. Prime Mike Tyson needed just one punch to send you to sleep, and even Ali himself admitted he would probably knock him out. Heavyweight greats like Lewis, Klitschko, or Tyson Fury all have a significant height and reach advantage over Ali, and it would be tough for him to beat them. Floyd
Joo, tosta on puhuttu, kohta tulee Floyd-pointti. Tosta, siis Rumble in the Jungleissa George Foreman oli paljon isompi ja kovempi lyöjä kuin Ali. Mitä siinä kävi? Mä oon katsonut sen koko matsin. Ali oli niin, sillä on sama psykopaattiutta kuin MJ, sillä että se on vähän yli-ihminen täällä, että se pystyy summon jotain voimaa itsestään, mitä harva niinku pystyy.
Mayweather has the undefeated record going for him in the GOAT conversation, and Sugar Ray Robinson has the number of victories. But whatever each boxer does, from now until the end...
Nyrkkeily on niin siisti laji.
of time, Muhammad Ali will still be the greatest. He's still the most known boxer ever, even though his career finished almost 40 years ago. His fight for human rights, legendary trash talk, unbelievable smarts, and silky smooth footwork made Ali the greatest champion in boxing history. There may have been better fighters than him, but Ali is the greatest.
Mitä no okei, kaikki saa miettiä omaa. Mutta siis Ali, välillä sun greatness ei ole se, että sä et ikin hävinnyt. Välillä sun greatness on se, että sä hävisit ja nousit, tulit takas, et antanut sen tappion tehdä sulle mitään ja tulit backiin ja voitit. Tiedättekö te? Ei se ole aina, tää elämä on diipimpää, kun voitin, hävisin, vaan se on silleen, kuinka haastava matka sulla oli huipulle. Ai sä tipuit noin korkealta, luovutit sä? Et vaan, kattokaa Rocky-leffat, ne kertoo niin paljon. Seuraavaksi UFC ja mun lempi UFC-fighter ikin, vaikka se henkilökohtaisessa elämässä paljon ongelmia. Toivotaan sille paljon rakkautta ja hyvää, mutta let's go.
John Jones. Now, in the MMA, unlike other sports on the list, there are multiple people that could claim the GOAT moniker, and it's more complicated to name just one person. First, we had Fedor Emelianenko, the Russian heavyweight who has been undefeated for 10 years in Pride and is an absolute legend of the sport. Then came Georges St-Pierre, who did get beaten only twice in his career, avenged both his losses, and has ruled the welterweight division for almost a decade. And then 4 years after his retirement, he captured the gold in middleweight as well. GSP had an incredible fighting IQ and was extremely well versed in all aspects of MMA and could win fights with his stand-up, ground game, or endurance. Demetrius Johnson is another fighter of the same ilk, and as far as skill set goes, he doesn't have to look up to anybody, and his 6-year UFC reign produced some of the most spectacular and breathtaking finishes we've ever seen. Anderson Silva could also be the GOAT, as he is probably the best striker that ever lived.
John Bones Jones on mun GOAT, mut Silva on mun lemppari.
His technique was flawless, and he had flair for days. Prime Anderson was an unsolvable mystery for every middleweight in the world, and he holds the record for the longest title reign in UFC history at 2,457 days, with 16 consecutive wins during that stretch. And even though all these guys are worthy of the GOAT title, we had to go with John Jones. When we were talking performance, then John
Sen ainut tappio on vaan, kun se voitti liian brutaalisti.
Jones is the greatest, simply because the man has never been beaten in the octagon and is arguably the most complete and most talented fighter ever. Multiple PED and out-of-sport scandals aside, when that octagon door closed behind him, Johnny Bones has defeated every single opponent that came in there with him, and that's why he's the best ever. Football, Tom Brady. Joe Montana.
Tääkin on vissiin aika helppo, silleen Brady on vaan voittanut liian hienosti. Vielä se uran, kun se kysyttiin, onko se systeemi, joka auttaa sitä voittaa Patriotsissa, mutta sittenhän se siirtyi vielä ja voitti muualle. What can you say?
Montana versus Tom Brady debate is similar to LeBron versus MJ. Legend of the past, with some stricter rules and more physical play, versus the modern version, who has longevity and recency on his side. However, Brady also has 6 rings compared to Montana's 4. Even though he played in the best organization, with the best coach, and some all-time great teammates, it's fair to say that he surpassed Montana, and that his 6th championship was the clincher. In the history of football, there has never been a field general so consistent, with both individual achievements and team success
Siis tämän jälkeen se voitti vielä yhden, kun tämä video on tehty ja eri jengissä.
intertwined. 6-time Super Bowl champion, 4-time Super Bowl MVP, 3 NFL MVP awards, 20 years of dominance. The numbers speak for themselves, and that's why Tom Brady is the GOAT. Squeaky clean image, great golf game, and Giselle are the icing to Brady's cake. Baseball, Babe Ruth. In the case of Pele
Tästä mä en tiedä mitään baseballista.
in football, or Bill Russell in basketball, their birth certificate is held against them in the GOAT conversation. Yes, Pele scored 700-plus goals, but he did it against low-level clubs 50 years ago, against people who had regular jobs. The same is true for Bill Russell and his 11 NBA rings.
Mulle toi pointti ei nabaa yhtään, kun dissataan GOATteja siitä, että ne pelas huonompaa tasoa vastaan. Se oli se korkein taso, mitä silloin oli. Jos me puhutaan noin, niin sitten 200 vuoden päästä, kun kyborgit pelaa, niin sitten sanotaan, että ei Messi osannut pelaa foodista, että jengillä silloin ei ollut edes metallijalko. Sille GOATteus on tätä, kun sun vastaan asetetaan tyyppejä, kuinka dominoiva sä oot sen tämänhetkisen tasoon verrattuna. Ja Pele oli uskomaton, Bill Russell oli uskomaton, Messi on uskomaton, Chris on uskomaton. Tiedätkö, ei lähdetä dissaa jengiä siksi, että ne eli jossain ajassa. Come on.
However, when it comes to baseball, Babe Ruth is still considered the greatest, even though there are not many people alive today who have
Toi ei näytä atleetilta.
seen him play. Yes, he did play when segregation was in place, and his competition was far away from current athletes' capabilities. But still, he was the best player of his era by a wide margin, and he still holds some of the all-time records in baseball. Ruth is Major League Baseball's all-time leader in career WAR, wins above replacement, a stat that is translatable to any era. The Great Bambino is also the all-time leader in slugging percentage, .690, and on-base plus slugging, 1.164. He's second in runs batted in 2,214, and on-base percentage, and third all-time in home runs. Outside of being a world-class slugger, he was also a
Mä en siis dissaa baseballia vaan itteeni, kun mä en taju tästä mitään.
dominant pitcher, which sets him apart from other great hitters like Barry Bonds or Willie Mays. Ruth is a 7-time World Series winner. He was the most popular sports figure of his time, and a player who is arguably more dominant over his sport than any other athlete since. Tennis. Roger Federer. In tennis, every GOAT debate
Oikea valinta.
revolves around the big three: Federer, Nadal, and Djokovic. There have been great champions before, but nobody has held the same dominance of the sport for so long. The three have monopolized the Grand Slams, and since 2003, when Federer won his first, they have won 55 out of the last 66 majors, which is mesmerizing. Of the last 16 years, Federer, Djokovic, and Nadal have spent 15 and a half, 95% ranked world number one. Nadal is without a doubt the king of clay, winning 12 Roland Garros titles, which is a record for a single Grand Slam tournament, and has 19 overall slams.
Nadal on ihan lähellä perässä. Mulle se on silti Federer. Tennistieteet, auttakaa meitä tietää, mitä tässä tapahtuu.
Djokovic has 17 major titles, and Federer has 20, and that's why he is still the GOAT. Roger played probably the most beautiful tennis ever, and when he was at his peak, he was in a class of his own. Still, Fed is likely at the very sunset of his career, and Nadal and Djokovic have all the tools to surpass him in the coming years, collect more slams, and dethrone him from the GOAT status. Golf. Tiger Woods. Like many other sports, golf also has a two-person debate for the greatest of all time, Tiger Woods and Jack Nicklaus. If we are comparing the two, Nicklaus definitely gets the nod at the majors, where he's the all-time leader with 18 wins. Also, he came in second additional 19 times and had a record 56 top 5 finishes. With 15 major titles, Tiger is 3 short of Jack's 18. On the other hand, Tiger is the all-time leader with 82 PGA Tour wins, and Nicklaus comes in third with 7.
Mun kaveri Kalle, joka tietää paljon golfista, niin sen kanssa on kyllä kiva puhua näistä. Siis, se just sanoi, että Tigerin se dominanssi sen piikissä oli vaan niin sairas, että se tuo sille GOAT status.
73 PGA victories. So the clincher comes down to context and dominance over the sport of golf. And that's why we chose Tiger as the GOAT. When Tiger was at his best, he played golf better than it's ever been
Kalle, jos sä katot tätä, you know bro, you know.
Played before. His 15 strokes margin of victory at the 2000 US Open is one of the greatest performances in the history of golf. Woods won by 11 or more strokes 4 times in his career, while Jack's best result was a 9-stroke margin. Tiger is also the only player to win 4 consecutive majors and has the lowest scoring average in PGA Tour history and the highest win percentage. If he didn't have bad luck with injuries, he probably would have exceeded Jack's 18 majors by now. If he does catch him, even the hardest Nicklaus fans will have to admit Tiger is the greatest. For us, he already is, even if he never makes another putt in his life.
Ai, tää oli hyvä video. Kiitos Nonstop Sportsille, että kasasitte teidän mielipiteitä. Mulla oli paljon samoja mielipiteitä, vähän eri mielipiteitä myös. Kerro sä sun mielipiteet kommentteihin. Kiitti ihan sikana, että katsoit tämän videon. Muista olla oman elämässä GOAT. Älä katso ympärilles, mitä se tarkoittaa, vaan kuuntele sun sydäntä ja löydä sieltä, mitä sun GOATteus tarkoittaa. YY Reagoi Community tukee sua siinä all day, baby. Okei, nähdään seuraavassa videossa. Mä oon Janik. Tää on YY Reagoi. Muista tilaa. Nähdään.